Welcome back, my little goblins. It's Remy. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome to my channel. It is 2024. It is my second video of 2024, and we are going to be talking about my 2024 reading goals. So this year I want to focus on series. So I want to start some series, finish some series this year. And you're probably going to be seeing some videos of like continuing or finishing series with me videos. I want to try and do some of those this year. Majority of my goals are going to be around series. Okay, so my first goal is like how many books I want to read this year. This was my same goal as last year because I did not achieve it. I want to read 50 books this year. Don't know if that's going to happen. Didn't do it last year, but, you know, I'm actually trying to read more this year. I have a little bit of a plan, kind of, sort of, not really. I'm just going to wing it. I'm going to try and schedule my reading more. That's really my plan. But, yeah. My next goal is to read at least one classic. I have 2 classics on my shelf. I have, what's it called? The Tale of Two Cities by Charles Dickens, and then I also have Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte. And I'm going to be reading Wuthering Heights next month in February because, you know, February is Valentine's Day and you know, all the lovey stuff. So I figured a good romance, an iconic romance would be good for that because book lovers quoted Wuthering Heights a lot and it made me want to read it. So we're going to be reading that next month. So the rest of these goals are all going to be about series. The first one is to start and finish the Throne of Glass series by Sarah J. Maas. She's also releasing the 3rd book of the Crescent City series this month. So I'm hoping to finish that so then I can also start the Crescent City series this year because I do plan to finish ACOTAR these before February or by like in February-ish. I also want to buy the Throne of Glass series, like all the books at one time, but I need money for that. So the next one is to start the Shadowhunters Chronicles, which I do plan on starting City of Bones next month, which is the first book to the Mortal Instruments series, which is the first series to the Shadowhunters Chronicles. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it's kind of confusing, but this is a series of series, and it makes it a Chronicles, okay? So there's 4 series. The first series has 6 books. The second series, and the rest of the series only have 3 books. So there's 4 series and like 15 books. So yeah, finish the Inheritance games, which I plan on finishing the Final Gambit hopefully this month. Or next month. I'm trying to finish it. Or I think I put it in my next month's TBR and not this month. But we'll see. We'll see what I'm doing. Finish the Addicted / Cowley Sister series. I'm only on the 3rd book. How many books are there in there? I don't know. Let's see because I have them written down. There's 10 books total. So I need to read 7 books by the end of this year. I might hit my 50 books this year just because I do have a lot of series that I want to finish and some series I want to start. So I think I'll get it done. The last goal that I have is to read more Christina Lauren because like I said in my what I read in 2023 video, I'm trying to get through her backlist. So I want to finish all of her standalones and then I want to go into her series. She has 2 series. I think the Beautiful Bastard series and the Wild series. I can't remember. But those are like more like adult romance, like kind of like I think erotica type series things. Yeah. They got drama, they got erotica, they got romances. I think it'll be good. I don't know if they started with those romances or if they started with standalones. I don't know. I'm going to get through their standalones first. Those are all of my reading goals for 2024. Now I'm going to be talking about the 24 books that I want to read in 2024. So I did not hit my 23 books in 2023, and mainly because most of them were books I didn't own. So a lot of these books are books that I already own so that I can get through my TBR and also you know, read the books on my TBR. And then I do have some that I do want to buy that I plan on reading this year. So The first book is City of Bones by Cassandra Clare, which I already talked about, that I have and I will be reading. The book that I have is not mine, it is my friend's, but I want to read it so I can send it back to her. Smoke and Bone by Laini Taylor. Again, this is also a book my friend let me borrow. I have not read yet, so I'm trying to read that one so I can send all of her books back to her this year. And then I have The Priory of an Orange Tree. This book is massive. I will be dedicating June to reading this book. Like, this will be the only book I'm reading in June, because look how thick she is. There's no way I'm reading anything else. You know, if I just showed you the books, it would be easier for editing me, but I really don't want to get all the books out, so I'm just going to make problems for editing me later. So, that's what I'm going to do. Twilight by Stephanie Meyer. So, I really want to do a, reading the Twilight series, things like I'm doing with ACOTAR with the full spoilers. That's what I want to do. And I also want to do a book versus movie video for every Twilight book. And also I read a sample from the Twilight book, and I only ever saw the movies. Don't really remember them. I was really young. I hated them. So I sworn off the books, because I thought they were awful, because I thought the movies were awful. So I think that if I read the book, I think the book is going to be better, because Stephanie Meyer's writing is so good, and I just think I would eat it up. I just think it would be so good, and I think it would make me view the movies completely differently. And I haven't watched them in a long time. I don't really remember a lot of them, but the clips that I've seen online are the parts that I actually remember, and the memes that people make about them. But I couldn't tell you the whole movie start from finish, you know what I'm saying? So I think it would be a good time to read those books for the first time and watch the movies after reading them, to, kind of see how they compare. I'm sure the book's better. The writing is so good, and I feel like the movie probably didn't portray it correctly. So then we have Curious Tides by Pascal Lucille. I'm probably saying that wrong. That sounds French. That looks French. Maybe it's not French. And then we have Assassin's Blade by Sarah J. Maas. Yes, when I read Throne of Glass, I'm reading Assassin's Blade first. Everyone says it's better that way. It's also a prequel, so I feel like it makes sense to read that book first. Then we have Carmilla by Joseph Sheridan Le Fanu. This is the story that inspired Dracula, so I really wanted to read that before I read Dracula, to because I felt like it would be cool to read the book that inspired Dracula before I read Dracula. And I've tried to read it a couple times. It's a really short read. I tried to read it in October and just didn't. I don't know why. I think when I sat down to read it, that's when I was switching between a bunch of books. I was trying to read Carmilla, and then I was trying to read The Final Gambit, and then I was trying to read Blood and Honey, and I didn't finish all of them. And then at the end of the year, I came back to Blood and Honey and finished that. So I think it was a weird mood reading time for me. I wasn't sure what I wanted to read. I kept starting books and not finishing them. So I'm definitely going to try and do that this year, probably in October, because it's very much an October read, but I kind of want to read Dracula this year just a little bit. So maybe I'll read it before October. Maybe I'll read it in September and then read Dracula in October. Maybe that makes sense. Then we have Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte. Again, the references from book lovers really made me want to read this book. Also, they read Wuthering Heights in Friends, in the Friends episode where Rachel and Phoebe go to this book club class. It was an English class, I think, a literature class that they took together, and they ended up reading Wuthering Heights, and Rachel didn't read it. And then Phoebe told her what she thought about it, and then Rachel stole Phoebe's answers.
So, Phoebe, what is the book about? I thought you said you read it in high school. Well, yeah, but then I remembered I started it, and then there was this pep rally, and I was on top of the pyramid. But anyway, what's the book about?
So that's what I remember about that Friends episode. That also makes me want to read it because I love Friends. So then we have If He Had Been With Me by Lauren Nowlin. So the second book to this comes out this year in February. So I want to read that book before I read the second book, obviously, because that's what you do. But I've had this on my shelf. I bought it last year. I've had it on my shelf, been wanting to read it, but then thought, do I want to cry right now? And then decided no, because everyone says it's heartbreaking. I've watched vlogs of people crying when they read it, and I just wasn't sure if I was mentally ready to read it. So this year, I'm going to read it. We have Addicted for Now by Kristen and Becky Ritchie, which I'm reading right now, so I'm about to get that crossed off my list. I am almost halfway through. It is so good. It is so good. I love Lily and Lauren so much. I just don't know what I'm going to do when I get to the other books that aren't about Lily and Lauren. I just don't know. I just don't know what I'm going to do because they're my favorite characters. And I don't know. I could read them doing anything. But, we'll see. We'll see how I feel when I get to Rose and Connor. Because I think it'll be interesting to see their relationship. Because as you're looking at it from an outsider's perspective, you really want to know, like, their little thing, why they break up and get back together. And they also have, like, made jokes about Rose still being a virgin. So I want to know if Mr. Cobalt has, you know what I'm saying? And I want to know what they say to each other in French. Okay, maybe I am excited about Rose and Connor's book. The next book is Lore by Alexandra Bracken. Alexandra Bracken. This is also another book that my friend gave me. It's a fantasy mythology book. So I'm trying to read that and send it back to her. Happy Place by Emily Henry. That's up here. I have read all the books I have of hers. I have read except for Happy Place, and Funny Stories coming out this year. So I'm trying to, I don't know why I'm talking about all the books coming out this year. I have a whole video already recorded. I just need to edit it and put it out of all the 2024 like new releases that I'm excited for. You will be getting that next week maybe. I can't remember when I'm posting it, but I will be talking about all the new releases that I'm excited for. The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston? Yeah, Ashley Poston. I've heard so many people talking about this book last year, and the premise sounds interesting. The book cover is beautiful. I'm excited. I want to read it. I need it in my life. Like right now. Like I wish that I could just take it from, like if someone could just put the book up to the screen and I could just take it out the camera, that'd be great. I wish things worked that way, but they don't. So I have to buy it. So the next book is another book that my friend gave me. It's All in Pieces by Suzanne Young. I think it's a heartbreak romance type thing. I don't know. I didn't read it. It's short. I'm gonna probably just read it real quick, sometime this year, again, so I can send her books back to her. And then we also have another book that my friend gave me, Things I'm Seeing Without You by Peter Bognani. Words. I can't do English. English is, not, anyways. And then we have Fairy Tale by Stephen King. I bought this last year. Was it last year? I think it was last year. I bought this for my friend. Me and my friend, I got both of these, I got 2 copies of this so that me and my friend could buddy read it. And we both ended up not reading it. She ended up having to go to, how is this set up? This is so weird. She ended up having to go out of town, and then I thought we were going to read it while she was out of town, and then we both didn't end up reading it. And so I don't even know, maybe she hasn't read it yet. Maybe we can buddy read it now, because I don't think she's read it yet. So then it's Roomies by Christina Lauren. I think this is the next book I'm going to read by her. I also want to read In a Holidays, and for 2024's like winter stuff. I'm hoping that this year brings a lot of changes and good vibes, and I'm able to read more and buy more books. So, I want more books. Roomies is the one that I thought would be really interesting to read. that I kind of wanted to read next from Christina Lauren. So, yeah, excited to read that. Fell in Love with Hope by Len Colley. That book was popular on TikTok. She was a TikToker who she was a writer who was showing her process and her writing this book on TikTok, and then she self-published it, and then she got traditionally published because so many people were like loving and reading her book. And the cover now is gorgeous. Let me grab it. Like, I remember seeing the cover before and thinking, oh, I'm not gonna read that. But the cover now, like, it encapsulated me, and I was like, encapsulated? That's not the word. English, again, I don't know. It drew me in. Did you know? It was like, I was like, ooh. I saw it, and I was like, what is this? And then I realized what it was, and I was like, oh. But this is her debut novel, and it kind of, the premise kind of reminds me of 5 Feet Apart. Have never read 5 Feet Apart, watched the movie, didn't read it. Didn't even really watch the movie, to be honest with you. The next is The Appeal by Janice Hallett. So let me show you. It's right here. I thought I was going to have to get up. So it's a mystery book, right? So, but like, all of it is not compiled in like chapters. It's compiled as like evidence. So like, everything's in like text messages and like emails. There's even there's audio things, like where you're like reading the audio. See, like, this is like emails, and there's a sticky note right here. I think there's one page that just has a bunch of sticky notes on it. Like, I think it's very interesting how it's like set up and like written. And I got this out of the free little library thing. See, this is the police report interview thing and how it's set up. Like, I think it's really cool how it's set up. And how it's written. I think I would get through this really quick because it's not written as like a regular book with like the entire page isn't filled with words. So yeah, I thought this was super interesting. I think the cover's really cool. So yeah, I think I'm gonna read this soon. I'm kind of in a little bit of like a murdery mystery thriller type of mood. So this says 1 murderer, 15 suspects. Can you uncover the truth? So, let's see who did it. You know what I'm saying? The Fine Print by Lauren Asher. So, oh my god, that won't fix. So, I have that up there. I also realized that they're on Kindle Unlimited, so I could probably read the last 2 books on Kindle Unlimited, but I'm, of course, going to get the physical copy because once I got one, gotta get all of them. So, collect them all. And then I have The Final Gambit by Jennifer Lynn Barnes, which I said I will be finishing or reading and finishing that trilogy this year. And when I say finish the Inheritance Games, I mean the first original trilogy. I don't know if I want to read the spin-off books because everyone talks about how they are not that good. So I'm not sure if I really want to read them. So to me, finishing the Inheritance Games is just finishing the first 3 novels. So then we have Final Girls by Riley Sager. And if I can get this book to go back in normally, like a normal book, like normal books do. I get it. Okay, so Final Girls. I don't know why I've all of a sudden just started picking up the books, but here you go. This book I bought a brand new copy, and they sent me a used one, so I was kind of upset. And it's really small, and I didn't expect it to be small, and I don't know how much I like it. So, but I'm sure the story's great because everyone described it as like a slasher, so I thought it'd be really cool. Dance of Thieves by Mary E. Pearson. So I bought this book last year and like wanted to read it, so I'm gonna read it this year because I want to finish. I should just stop grabbing the books. I can't put them back. But I wanted to start to read them. There's a duology, Dance of Thieves and Battle of Thieves. I can't speak right now. Thing's about to go out again. So, I wanted to read that. So I'm gonna read that. I'm gonna finish it. I'm gonna get Battle of Thieves. I'm gonna finish the duology, and it's gonna be done. You know what I'm saying? Gonna get it off my series tracker list, okay? And then we have A Million Kisses in Your Lifetime by Monica Murphy. It is a part of the Lancaster Prep series, and I realized I didn't know that when I made this list, but I found out that book is actually the second book to the Lancaster Prep series. Didn't know that. Thought it was the first one. Don't know why I thought it was the first one. Everyone talks about it like it's a standalone. So I thought it was a standalone, and now I have to find the first book of the series in order to read this book. But that's it for today, guys. It was nice talking to y'all. See you next week. I hope you have a great week. Read your hearts out. You know what I'm saying? Drink some water. Like, comment, and subscribe. You know, all the things you normally do in life. And have a fantastic week and a happy new year. Bye, deuces, blah, blah. Yep, those things.